Shocking news arrived from Brackley, and it seems like the Silver Arrows finally understood what needed to be done in terms of the staff. After Elliott has announced that he isn't ready to continue as the technical director of the team, a surprising but yet expected move was made by Wolff. An old new face is back, and it means only one thing: Mercedes are out for blood in 2023. Join us as we go through the latest developments around the CTO role in Mercedes as to whether or not the team made the right choice by bringing back Allison. Mercedes has hit a rough patch in the 2023 season, and it's crystal clear that their current design won't cut it if they want to stay competitive. Unlike last year, the team has quickly acknowledged that they can't afford to stick with the status quo from race 1. That's why they're pulling out all the stops and unveiling a completely new car at Imola. But they're not stopping there. They're planning to fine-tune and refine it on tracks like Montreal, Silverstone and Barcelona. Before delving into the latest updates from the Mercedes garage, let's take a moment to reflect on the challenge that the 2023 and 2022 versions of their car posed. It's crucial to understand how the development path in the factories impacts the car's performance on track. The pressure was on for Mercedes to deliver, and their previous designs presented some serious obstacles. In 2022, Mercedes faced a formidable challenge with their car. They initially built a machine with a rear end that was too strong, causing it to porpoise and bottom out on the track. Determined to tackle this issue head-on, they made adjustments by building a car with a front end that was overly powerful. But this approach came with its own set of problems. The car became too pointy and aggressive in the corners, resulting in a loss of rear downforce. Hamilton himself pointed out the struggles they faced with this setup. Wolff made a statement that Mercedes is well aware of where they went wrong. They've built two vastly different cars, swinging from one extreme to the other in pursuit of the ultimate goal. Their aim? To create a car that strikes the perfect balance, finding the sweet spot between their previous two designs. They're gunning to challenge the likes of Red Bull and Aston Martin head-on. Ferrari, on the other hand, might not pose a real threat to Mercedes in the 2023 season, despite their undeniable talent. It's hard to ignore the glaring truth that ever since Elliott took over as the team's technical director, succeeding the esteemed James Allison, who was responsible for the legendary W11, Mercedes' performance has taken a nosedive. Allison's track record speaks for itself, having built one of the most dominant cars in the history of F1. But when he departed in 2021, the responsibility of deciphering and navigating the complex 2022 regulations fell largely on Elliott's shoulders. Unfortunately, it seems that Elliott's interpretation and execution may not have been up to par with Mercedes' expectations. The team's struggles on the track and the lack of progress in their car's performance have been all too apparent. It's not like Allison would have waved a magic wand and instantly fixed everything, given that he was also involved in the design of the 2022 car. However, what's clear is that Allison's experience would have allowed him to identify the car's issues much earlier than Elliott and take corrective action in a timely manner. Many F1 experts have echoed the sentiment that the departure of Allison and Vowles from the team marks a significant turning point for the Silver Arrows, and not necessarily in a positive way. So, forgive me for pointing out the obvious, but Allison's return to the team is like a breath of fresh air in these tumultuous times. It's widely seen as the best thing that could have happened to Mercedes as they strive to regain their former glory and outpace their competitors on the track. Let me tell you, I'm not one to shoot the messenger, but I gotta say, the facts speak for themselves here. As much as we may respect Elliott, the team's recent track record under his technical directorship has been nothing but disappointing. I mean, let's be real. Building two cars that were so different from each other and yet still underperformed is no small feat. And to make matters worse, they failed to listen to their own drivers' feedback, like Hamilton's complaints about the sidepod design. But now, with Allison back in the mix as the technical director, it's clear that Mercedes is acknowledging the gravity of the situation and the importance of having someone with his experience and expertise in charge. They know what they need, and they know that Allison is the man for the job. It's not just the fans and pundits who have been talking about this. Even Elliott himself has admitted that maybe he wasn't the best fit for the technical director role. After all that searching and experimenting to find the perfect setup and performance for the car, he's come to the realization that maybe he and Allison should have swapped roles. Wolff himself has chimed in on this too, acknowledging that there's room for improvement in the team structure. It's definitely been a topic of conversation in the paddock, that's for sure. This is what Wolff said. This was very much driven by Mike Elliott owning the process. So we have reversed the roles. Mike has moved up to CTO as he has a brilliant switched-on scientific mind, and James Allison has returned to his technical director position, reporting into Mike. Apparently, Allison will still be involved in the America's Cup project, but make no mistake, him taking over as CTO for Mercedes means they're out for blood. The team knows that losing their backbone for 2 years has been a major blow to the development of the W13 and W14. And if that's not enough, Vowles, the team principal, has jumped ship to Williams. Talk about a shake-up in the paddock, right? Wolff was practically ecstatic about Allison's return to Mercedes. He revealed that even Elliott himself acknowledged that Allison was better suited to the nitty-gritty hands-on responsibility of the technical director role. Now, Elliott can focus on broader organizational technical developments that align with his own strengths. It's like a strategic reshuffle to make sure the right people are in the right positions, and it's bound to have a positive impact on the team's performance. I must say, the news about Allison's promotion came as quite a shock to everyone in the F1 community, including myself. While we knew that he would be taking on a more proactive role upon his return to the team, the speed at which he was promoted back to his old role as CTO is nothing short of mind-blowing. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. In fact, I think it's the best thing that could have happened to Mercedes, especially since Elliott himself admitted that the technical director role was too much for him to handle. But still, it's quite unexpected to say the least. The upcoming race at Imola is undoubtedly one of the most highly anticipated events for every die-hard F1 fan out there. And with Allison now back at the helm, there are some key challenges he'll need to tackle head-on and fast. And one of the top priorities would be the design of the highly anticipated W14 car. This is a make-or-break moment for Mercedes, as the design simply cannot afford to fall short of expectations. If it does, well, let's just say the 2023 season might as well be tossed into the garbage bin. But with Allison's fingerprints all over the upgrades, it's hard for me to fathom how things could possibly go wrong for Mercedes at this point. Wolff has provided some direct updates on the current situation of the car and the goings-on behind the scenes in Brixworth and Brackley as the Austrian continued. In terms of car development, it is encouraging to see that within 3 races, we understand the car much better. We have defined a clear direction where we need to go, and I believe we are on the right trajectory. We need to consolidate our understanding, and hopefully over the next few races we can make another step. There will be setbacks, but there will also be upgrades and plenty of work that will help us get closer to the front. The machine is continuing to run in Brixworth and Brackley at a fast pace. What you see on track is only the tip of the iceberg, but the performance of the car and power unit is made in these 2 factories. It's clear that Mercedes is leaving no stone unturned in their quest to get back to the top of the F1 game. Allison is like the chosen one, the man with a plan who's going to work his magic and bring their car to its rightful place. F1 fans all over are holding their breath, hoping that the newly designed W14 will be a beast on the track, just like the legendary W11. It's a tall order though, with the strict budget cap and development restrictions in place. But Mercedes is not backing down. They're shaking things up internally, changing the roles of the senior designers to adapt to the new cost cap environment. John Owen as chief designer and Giacomo Tutora as engineering director, it's all part of the grand plan for success. Mercedes is determined to reclaim their glory and show their customer team who's boss after a rocky start to the 2023 season. Do you think these changes will be enough to turn the tide and bring Mercedes back to the top of the podium? Share your thoughts in the comments below, F1 fans. The anticipation is killing me.